do you remember your first moment when you're like in the car battling with other people on the track going, God, this is like really happening? Are you having that sort of surreal moment, or?
It's more of like I didn't know what I didn't know, right? I remember my first race, I'm like, oh, I saw a gap and try to get to somebody's right side, and then I stuffed myself in the fence, and I still have the ball joint of the legend car just sitting in my house just as a cool reminder. But that whole first summer, I thought I sucked. Like I didn't get a top 10 till like halfway through the summer, and was having to run the B main to make the feature and everything. And it was a tough experience because I had such high expectations of like, I was decent on sim racing, and I was, knew how to make speed and race, and thought it would translate immediately, and it did not. I honestly had to relearn everything when I got to real life.
What do you mean?
Well, just in terms of the visuals, feeling it in the car, feeling the tire, the steering, and as you know, like the higher you go, the more advanced everything gets. But honestly, the further I've gone along on the real life side of things, the more iRacing has been able to kind of come back and meet in the middle and be a really good tool for me.
Yeah.
So
I find that I think that's really hard to explain to somebody, and I think you're a great person to be able to do that because you've experienced it. But I always feel like when I think about, so I think from this moment going forward, we got to look at iRacing as a tool, right? So it's check that box, and gain that respect. When you put somebody who's never driven a car before on iRacing, you can tell them, I would say, all right, man, if you want to try to make this a career, and instead of taking you to a racetrack and putting you in a race car for the first time, I'm going to put you on iRacing for a year or two. Great idea. But what you're going to try to do on iRacing is, I'm not worried about how like fast you win or how many races you win or your winning percentage. It's all about like racecraft, wouldn't you say?
I agree. Like you do.
Trying to stay out of crashes, or trying not to drive yourself into crashes.
Because that's the way you rank up, is by just not having a lot of incident points.
That's right.
That's one thing I really learned the hard way my first 2-3 years of racing, of like I'd be fast, I could qualify well, but like racing was where I would not do good at, whether it was like putting myself in bad spots, going for tight holes, and just racking up the incident points and damaging the cars I was driving. But I really learned really what it takes, like you mentioned, from a racecraft perspective, because the margins aren't as good, right, with netcode and all the different things that they have on the sim. And honestly, that helped me from a common sense standpoint.
And that's an expensive bit of experience to gain in real cars.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. If you don't have to do it in real life, it's gonna, like, once you figure out the basics of like, the garage flow and using the clutch and shifting and all that stuff, like the common sense is gonna kick in at a certain point.
Yeah, for sure.